Hey, this is Dennis. It's Friday. Just want to show y'all some of the things I've been doing around on the farm and the ranch the last couple of weeks. I painted shutters on the house. They hadn't been painted in a long time. So I painted those and got my wife happy. Fertilized the entire property. I know the price of fertilizer. Well, actually looking at those videos on Brighteon, fertilizer was getting ready to go up. So as soon as I saw that video, I went straight down to Shavers and bought 15 bags of triple 13. Normally I probably would have bought 30, but I went ahead and fertilized. I just kind of dialed back the controls on my spreader, and I fertilized the whole yard, my whole property, and kept some fertilizer left. And fruit and nut trees for years, and I've had a lot of failures, a lot more failures than not. I know about 4 months ago, I went to a nursery there in Pensacola, Florida, and I said, what can I do to really make my fruit and nut trees produce more fruit and nuts? And the guy said, get some of this right here. It's 1910-5, contains some zinc, food, citrus, and pecan tree food. And I asked him, I said, well, when's the best time to fertilize? He said October and February. So what I did, it was already past October. Around the first week in February, I went around and fertilized all my fruit and nut trees. And then I just put like a handful, on average on every fruit or nut tree. But if there were bigger trees, I'd put 2 or 3 handfuls. And then I went like the first week in March, and they seem to be doing a whole lot better. Let me ride you around. Hey, this is an elderberry plant that I purchased about 3 years ago and planted here, and started looking at videos on how to propagate. And during the winter, when it was in a dormant state, I came and took some cuttings off of here, and you can see where the new growth sprouts up at these little nodules here. And they were saying on the video, when you make your cuttings, you'd make like a cutting there, and then like one up here. And this is when it's dormant. Nothing was on the tree then. Then just take the little sticks and stick them down in the ground, and where these are, it would take root. And then where these are, it'd sprout out. Well, there was enough limbs coming off here. Believe it or not, I got 100 cuttings off of it. And I went around the property, over along that fence row, back down that way, and over at my old asparagus garden. And I stuck them all in the ground, and I lie to you not, I think 85 out of the 100 sprouted up. I'm gonna have elderberry out the yin-yang. Let me drive around, I'll show you some of these other trees. This is an apple tree I planted a couple of winters ago, and it didn't do a whole lot last year, but like I said, I put that good fertilizer. Plus I came back with triple 13 a few weeks ago. This is another apple tree, and they put on blooms like a week or 2 ago. It's a pecan tree over there. It's another pecan tree right here. I planted those like 2 winters ago. I have a bigger pecan there. That's crab apple. That's a chestnut there, and I've got another big chestnut over there. Got 3 different type peach trees over here. Planted a plum tree back over that way. Now this one ain't doing too good. But it's a peach tree here. It's another peach tree there. All right, let me show you around some more. Hey, several years ago, I planted these blueberry bushes here. There's 3 of them. And last year, they did not produce the first blueberry. So like I said, I went ahead and used that really good fertilizer and fertilized twice. And I want you to look at all the blooms. It's gonna be a bunch of blueberries. So I have a whole bunch of blueberries this year. Then my scuppernong, fertilized it real good. We'll see how it does. And I've got a couple grape trees back over there. All right, just wanted to show you that fertilizer. I believe it's gonna really help out. A lot of blueberries coming on. Now this loquat tree I planted about 3 or 4 years ago, and it never put on fruit. But after I did that good fertilizing, it started putting on fruit. So that's another good sign. You can see all those different little fruits in there. Loquats. There's one. It's almost ripe right there. But I noticed one thing. The birds have really been working on it. This is another loquat. It's just coming along. But I want to show you this orange and lemon tree. After I did that good fertilizing on this orange tree and that lemon tree over there, I want you to look at the blooms. This tree is gonna be loaded with oranges. Look at all the blooms. So I'd have to say, yeah, first week in February, first week in March. But look at that. This orange tree is loaded. Now, I noticed one thing here in Northwest Florida when I was doing the pool cleaning business. About the only place you can really have citrus trees in this part of Florida, it needs to be near a body of water. So those nights when it gets down in the low 20s, there'll be like a warm mist coming off, and it keeps your citrus trees alive. Now this one, not as much, lemon tree. Yeah, there's a bunch of blooms there. Yeah, this one's gonna be loaded with lemons too. Okay, let me show you some more. I've got 2 olive trees we had planted 5, 6 years ago. That one there and another one back over there. They never have put on fruit, but I found out I started making tinctures last year, and they say these leaves are just loaded with vitamin C. And So I started making tinctures out of that. Let me show you these trees here in my chicken pen. A couple winters ago, I just had the bright idea. I was like, let me plant some stuff in the chicken pen. Some of them I had to put little wiring around. Now that one's doing fairly well, and that one is. But this nectarine, I mean, just boom. It has shot up. It had a bunch of blooms on it a couple weeks ago. So this tree has really taken off. This one over here has struggled. Now they're citrus trees, but they're away from the water. So I didn't think they were gonna do all that well. Now this grapefruit almost died. And I covered them with sheets for most of the winter. Now you can see there's some new growth above the grass, so it's still alive. But it's, I think it's a blood red grapefruit. I hope it makes it. We'll see. And them guineas are about the noisiest animals. Now this one's doing fairly well. It's supposed to be cold tolerant. I think that one's supposed to be cold tolerant. Alrighty. Take a look at the chickens here. This morning I went down the hill and hooked up the disc to the tractor. And Wednesday I came out and picked the last bit off of the winter garden. And I turned the sheep in it. And they were in here for 2 days, and I went ahead and disced this up. I'm gonna get ready for my summer garden. And I'll probably come back disc it 1 or 2 more times. Then I think I'm gonna take my color packer and pack that with grooves in there, and maybe use my push planter in there, and then I'll close that back off. Alrighty. Hey, now I was gonna tell you, last Saturday I took my cattle trailer and backed it up over at the end of that alleyway, and I caught me 5 different sheep and took them to the sale up there in Bruton, Alabama. They supposed to mail me the check. What? I done fed them this morning. The pasture is greening up. I got 1 solid black little baby sheep. But I'm down to 25 now. I may sell a few more. All right, let me show you these trees right over here. I was telling you about those elderberry cuttings where I just took the sticks and stuck them in the ground. There you go, look at that. There's one there. Another one right there. But there they are in that alleyway. I got the front shut off because Lucky keeps going up there. He's and getting in the front pasture and getting out and getting in the yard. So I got it shut. There was the guy when I was going to Olive Baptist Church. He gave me this date tree. And I've had it there for 3 years, it ain't hardly done nothing. But like I said, I use that fruit and nut tree fertilizer and that triple 13, and it's coming out. And then this winter I did go buy 2 different plum trees. So you can see what that is. Santa Rosa plum. You can see the blooms on there. And this one over here, about 3 weeks ago, I mean, it was full of blooms. And you can see the little bitty plums coming on there. Yeah, it's just loaded with little bitty plums. And this pear tree has struggled for years now. But I'm telling you, I put that fruit and nut fertilizer to it, and that triple 10, and it's looking better. But I want you to look at all the blooms on that thing. Good Lord, it is loaded. It's beautiful. And then this over here, I don't know what it is. It is loaded with blooms. I'm gonna see if I can get this uploaded, and I gotta do some weed eating, put out some kills off. As soon as I get everything caught up, I think I'm gonna go do a little bit of fishing. Well, God bless y'all. Walk with God one day at a time.